Then, well, if you have time, I am encouraging you to get this book. Of course, I got my copy at at Kindle, okay, at Amazon. You will be seeing cases from DOHI Center residents and Amang Rodriguez Medical Center neuro-ophthalmology service cases. And some of the videos are courtesy of Novel or the Neuro-Ophthalmology Visual Education Library. Okay, so whenever we say neuro-ophthalmologic emergencies, we have life-threatening or sight-threatening. Okay, so of course, we should attend to the life-threatening first. Okay, and then um, if we are faced with the sight-threatening, of course, we really need to make sure that it is not life-threatening. So, what are the life-threatening cases that we may encounter at our everyday ophthalmology clinic? We could have a partial or complete third nerve palsy, probably secondary to an aneurysm, bilateral optic disc swelling, either a brain tumor or dural venous sinus thrombosis, an acute unilateral or bilateral ophthalmoplegia, ptosis or diplopia with dyspnea, dysphagia, or systemic weakness, or a Horner syndrome secondary to an acute internal carotid artery dissection. Those are some of the life-threatening cases that could that we could see them at at our everyday clinics. Well, bilateral sight-threatening cases include acute vision loss from giant cell arteritis, pituitary apoplexy, and neuromyelitis optica. Of course, unilateral sight-threatening cases, acute glaucoma, well, tamang-tama ito lecture natin, for World Glaucoma Week, endophthalmitis, of course, penetrating eye injury, and the one that is highlighted here or in bold letters is the sphenoid sinus mucocele. So, how not to miss these cases? Okay, so how not to miss these cases? First and foremost, these are some of the rules or observations that we neuro-op tend to notice. Okay, when we see neuro-ophthalmology patients. Okay, majority of them they are silent. Okay, so the silent neuro-op patient. Okay, why silent? Okay, sometimes a patient will come to you with an OCT finding, okay, or a visual field finding, and yet the retina looks okay. So you're at a puzzle here, okay? So um, uh, in this particular case, whenever I say silent neuro patient, the patient sees nothing, and when the patient was evaluated by an ophthalmologist, the ophthalmologist cannot see anything. Okay, so it's a silent neuro-op. Okay, neuro-op patient. So doon pa lang, when for example, doon pa lang you should think probably you're dealing with an optic nerve lesion or more posteriorly located lesions. Okay, so remember, neuro-op patients are silent neuro-op patients, okay? So, um, hindi kumbaga pupunta sila sa inyo na hindi nila ma-explain kung bakit malabo ang mata or galing na sila sa optical shop or galing sa ibang ophthalmologist and then puzzled sila bakit hindi makita kung ano yung problema sa mata. Most of the neuro-op patients ganyan, okay? So, yun. That's the number one, silent neuro-op patient. Number two, blurring of vision approach. Of course, pag nasa our everyday GO clinic, we do refraction, always do swinging flashlight test, color vision testing, and confrontational visual fields. And then automated perimetry. After we completely work up the patient or after we completely uh, did our ophthalmologic exam. Okay? So, what will make us think that we are probably dealing with an optic neuropathy is that patient may have RAPD, impaired color vision, sometimes on confrontational visual field testings. Uh, there are visual field cuts, for example, hemianopia. Then that should, at the back of our mind, that should suspect that probably we're dealing with an optic neuropathy case here. Okay, so whenever optic neuropathy case, of course, the next thing that we need to do is to do an MRI or neuroimaging because we need to rule out life-threatening conditions first. Okay? So, number one, silent neuro-op. Number two, the blurring of vision. Of course, common sa atin yan as ophthalmologist. Okay, now going to rule number three. For the residents, I want you to, can you give me the diagnosis? This one. Okay, anyone? Sige, Rich, ikaw na lang. Ikaw lang ikaw nakikipag-communicate sa'kin, eh. Ayan. Oh, okey, sige. Oh, 'di ba mahirap 'pag titignan lang yung fundus photo? How about this one? Ano yung lines? Can you see my arrow? Ito, yung aking
Yes, any of the
oh,
residents, baka you want
oo,
to share.
oo. Ayan. Oh, anyway, sige, i-ano ko na. Okey. Ito, 'di ba? Alam natin swollen siya, but can we give the diagnosis?
Cannot give
Oo,
the
mahirap.
exact
Okey. Ayan, sige. Okay, ito. We know that it's pale, pero ano yung tinuturo? Okay? Octociliary shunt. So, at the back of our heads, meron na tayong iniisip na working diagnosis, but still, hindi pa rin natin ito madadiagnose, ha? Ito, just a pale nerve. Ito, another pale nerve with some octociliary shunts. Ito, madadiagnose ba natin? No, swollen ito, pale nerve yun. Anyway, this is Foster Kennedy syndrome, or it could be a pseudo Foster Kennedy syndrome. Okay. How about this one? Pwedeng normal. Ito, may swelling dito. And somehow this nerve looks pale. And then ito, naku, kailangan alam niyo yung diagnosis nito, ha? Sige. So, moving on. Okay, optic nerve interference, ha? You can never diagnose the cause of the optic nerve dysfunction just by looking at the disc. Okay? For neuro-op, mahirap yun. Okay? Unless, of course, glaucoma. Well, we do have our suspicions. For example, yung last case, which is the neuroretinitis. But then, always do our complete medical history and examination. Okay? So, of course, kung pale yung nerve and then neuro-op yung patient, then of course, again, at the back of our heads, ang thinking natin, always rule out life-threatening conditions first. So, ano yung mga yon na which will give rise to an optic disc atrophy o pale optic nerve or optic disc swelling. Okay, so ganun yung thinking. Okay, para at least wala tayong mamimiss, particularly in our everyday GO clinic. Ayan. For non-traumatic acute optic nerve dysfunction, if it doesn't follow the criteria of typical optic neuritis, anterior ischemic optic neuropathy, it warrants urgent investigation. Okay? Typical optic neuritis, this is your optic neuritis secondary to a multiple sclerosis and anterior ischemic optic neuropathy. This is a non-arteritic ischemic optic neuropathy. Okay, well, typical optic neuritis. This is a favorite board question. 15 to 45 years old, male or female, but most of the time it's a female, otherwise well, previously healthy patient, one eye only, okay? Time course, acute onset of blurred vision, and then orbital pain, usually but not always on eye movement, and then no other systemic neurologic symptoms. Of course, if there is prior multiple sclerosis symptoms that usually last 2 days to weeks, then resolves. Okay, that's typical optic neuritis. And then on examination, of course, no proptosis, ophthalmostosis, normal eye movements, everything normal. RAPD, of course, on that affected eye. The optic nerve appearance, it may have a normal optic nerve or it has a mild to moderate swelling. Notice pallor, hard exudates, cotton wool spots, hemorrhages, iritis, vitritis, or other intraocular diseases. Okay? Of course, kung meron yan, then we should not be thinking of optic neuritis. Maybe it's a secondary optic neuritis. Okay? Perimetry, of course, the affected eye with present with generalized depression. And on follow-up, vision stops worsening and it usually starts improving. Okay? So that's the typical optic neuritis. In anterior ischemic optic neuropathy, of course, ang time course nito, siguro naman naka-encounter na kayo, it is very sudden acuity or field loss while awake or visual loss noted first upon waking up. Okay, Doc, nagising ako, wala nang paningin tong isa kong mata. Okay, so medical history, reviewing the medical history of these cases. The patient probably has one or more vasculopathic risk factors like hypertension, diabetes, sleep apnea, taking amiodarone or erectile dysfunction drugs, and usually one eye is affected. No other neurologic symptoms can be seen. Okay, again, everything normal, unless of course the patient was previously documented with an old anterior ischemic optic neuropathy, a crowded optic disc. Of course, we need to rule out GCA. Although rare dito sa Philippines, nagkakaroon pa rin tayo. And on follow-up, there should be no progressive worsening of vision beyond the week. So, if ever makakita kayo ng non-arteritic ischemic optic neuropathy, you should follow up these cases after 1 week because some of those cases nagpro-progress na sila into arteritic anterior ischemic optic neuropathy, and of course una nating iisipin with those cases is GCA. Okay, and pag napabayaan ng GCA, mag-i-stroke, mag-aortic aneurysm, mamamatay yung pasyente. Okay, so always rule out life-threatening conditions first. Okay, for 5, chronic optic nerve dysfunction, it doesn't follow a diagnostic criteria for glaucomatous optic neuropathy warrants further investigation. Okay, so here we have a case. Sorry, medyo madilim. Can you see I hope you guys can see the optic, this photo. Okay. This was referred to me by a glaucoma consultant. However, talagang generalized depression, talagang walang makita yung patient. Okay? And then when OCT was requested, and can any of the residents point out what's wrong?
Maybe our second or third years can answer.
Sige, sige. Sige, ikaw na lang, JB, magturo. Ayan.
Who wants to volunteer?
Hindi na lang.
Okay, siya.
So if we were at first look, doc, parang I think glaucoma, but then um, the RNFL thickness wouldn't point to that. So parang mas thickened siya. Although
Ito,
there's
okay.
areas of
Yes,
atrophy as well.
okay, yes, oo, tama. Ito nga, ha? Okay. So, going back, kung titignan mo, hindi naman siya parang swollen na swollen eh. Okay? So, the optic disc photo says, well, it projects a photo, and then the visual field projects a different clinical scenario, and then yung OCT, iba rin. Okay, ha? So, kung titignan mo, hindi siya ganun ka-swollen or siguro medyo pangit pa yung photo ko nun. But, magkakaiba, hindi sila magkakatugma, okay? Of course, 'pag glaucoma, for example, may notching ka sa ilalim, so dapat mag-e-expect ka ng arcuate scotoma on visual field, and then may makikita kang RNFL thinning on OCT. Pero ito, you have a somewhat normal, medyo malaki lang yung cupping, but then walang generalized depression or talagang blackout, generalized scotoma on visual field, and then RNFL thickness dito sa OCT. So magkakaiba sila ng sinasabi, and that should warrant further investigation. Okay? So yun yung ano ha, pag acute chronic ah in acute chronic optic nerve dysfunction, so is it glaucoma? Well, galing sa glaucoma specialist 'to, so baka hindi, okay? Ni-refer niya actually, and nag-neuroimaging ako, it turned out may bukol pala siya, okay? So, ang ruling sa glaucoma, well, dapat there should be an agreement, okay? Ah, kung titignan mo yung optic disc photo, dapat tugma rin siya sa visual field, sa OCT, pero ito magkakaiba silang tatlo, okay? So, that should warrant a further investigation, and in this case, neuroimaging, and it turned out may bukol siya sa frontal lobe, okay? So, again, mag-iingat kayo, ha? So, glaucomatous optic neuropathy, of course, no complaints of progressive worsening of vision except in advanced cupping or notching. Pero in our case, mukhang hindi naman. Visual acuity may be normal unless there's an advanced cupping or extensive field loss, cataracts, color testing may be normal except in advanced cases. Um, well, increased cup to disc ratio. There's a focal or diffuse loss of the neuroretinal rim. And most importantly, in glaucomatous optic neuropathy, there should be no rim pallor. Okay? Oh, so ito, in perimetry, it respects the horizontal midline but not the vertical midline. The disc must match the fields, of course, arcuate scotoma muna kung medyo nagsisimula pa lang, equals optic disc notching. And if there is no correlation between the disc and the fields, it is not glaucoma. Okay? Or if there is not correlation between the disc, kunwari yung photo or the OCT and the fields, it is not glaucoma. Okay? So, be very careful with that. Minsan yan talaga yung mami-miss natin. Aminado din ako diyan. Okay, so buti na lang may mga glaucoma specialist na madali nating kausapin, tatanungan. Puwede natin silang tanungan or help a friend, call a friend, "Glaucoma ba ito?" Kasi kung hindi, i-MRI ko na, sabi, oh, yung mga gano'n ba naman. So, a little help of course para naman sa pasyente, para hindi mabulag, and again, life-threatening conditions para hindi mamatay. Okay, moving on, the level of vision explained by visible intraocular disease. Okay, so unexplained poor vision, optic atrophy, disc cupping, or field loss always require investigation. Okay, careful history, perimetry, and neuroimaging as needed. Okay, so again, poor vision, optic atrophy, disc cupping, whenever we say optic atrophy, pale na yung nerve and vision is, pangit na talaga. For example, much worse than 2200, for example, 5200, counting fingers or hand movement. Pag sinabi ko na optic atrophy, magkasama na yung dalawang yan, ha? Pale yung nerve and pangit yung vision. Of course, pale nerve, for example, in cases with optic neuritis secondary to multiple sclerosis, these patients may have a pale nerve, pero their vision can be 20/20 pa rin. Okay? So, whenever we say optic atrophy, pale nerve, poor vision. Okay? So, here's a case. This is courtesy of Dr. Jason Yu. This is a female Filipino from Quezon City, complaining of blurring of vision of the left eye for 1 year. No consult was done. Okay, persistence prompted consult at DOHEC. Was around December 2018. Okay, so left eye, medyo pangit, 5200. There's RAPD. Slit lamp exam was unremarkable. Color vision, well, RGBY, they only use color saturation, which seems to be okay. Cyclorefraction in this case are the following, but still with those vision. And then, okay, could you describe the nerve? Ayan. Kung titignan niyo yung right eye, medyo okay pa, no? But the left eye, medyo, ano na, pale nerve na. Okay, yung tabi, this one, these photos are the photo of the angles, okay? So, this was initially a glaucoma, presented as a case of glaucoma, okay? But what finding will tell you na baka hindi glaucoma ito? Anyone? Residents?
Although glaucoma may be asymmetric, they usually involve both eyes also.
Okay. So, kung titignan niyo ha, yung rim, kasasabi lang ha, kanina ha, no rim pallor. Pero to, okay, sige ha, sige. Maybe, baka naman ano lang. So, Fields was done. This is the right. And then, this is the left eye. So, medyo constricted, pero on low vision, okay. On OCT, okay. So, even on ganglion cell analysis or the macular cube settings, talagang thinned out na yung ganglion cell layer niya. Okay. So, red free photo. Okay, this is the right eye and this is the left eye. So, is it glaucoma or not? Hirap, di ba? Anyway, sige. Hindi niyo napansin ano, hindi kasi sinabi yung age. Okay? Yun. Always remember ha, pag hindi tayo, for example, kung medyo puzzling yung case, sometimes the answer lies on the patient. We need to go back. Okay? So, yung present ito, ganitong style din, hinold din yung age. Para lang, glaucoma ba to o hindi? When it turned out na 9-year-old female pala to, so majority of them in consensus, MRI. So, nung napa-MRI yung pasyente, you can see the, although nag-e-enhance siya rito, ito, kikita nyo. Okay? Yan. And this was eventually signed out as, this was eventually signed out as, this was eventually signed out as a suspicion of optic nerve glioma. Okay? So, which brings us to the next rule or, well, next rule which is compressive optic neuropathy until proven otherwise. Okay? So, any optic disappearance, normal, swollen, or cup on one or both eyes, any field loss, arcuate altitudinal defect on one or both eyes. Okay? Uh, Always rule out compressive optic neuropathy until proven otherwise. Okay? Huwag kayong didiretso agad na MRI, ha? Hindi ganon. Do complete history and PE muna. Okay? So, in this case, we have a 55-year-old male with blurring of vision, right eye over the left eye. Patient claims sudden blurring of vision of the right eye, non-diabetic, hypertensive, and patient claims he is controlled and takes medications religiously, well, according to him. And then best corrected visual acuity is 2200 and the left eye is 20/2070. Best correct color vision using Ishihara is 15 out of 15. Both eyes, pupils, no RAPD, slit lamp and fundus, unremarkable. Okay? So, dito pa lang, mag-iisip na kayo. Uh, Blurred yung vision, pero walang RAPD and good yung color. So, what's wrong? Okay? Is it non-organic visual loss? Kasi wala kang makita, the patient cannot see anything, and as an ophthalmologist, you will not see anything but poor vision. Poor vision lang siya. Nung nag-visual acuity ka, 2200, but good yung color, no RAPD. So, nag CT scan, and we can see that there's a bleed here at the left parieto-temporal area. Okay? So, nag-stroke pala siya. Okay? So, again, mag-ingat. Okay? If it doesn't, anong tawag dito? If it doesn't seem to connect, for example, hindi talaga magtugma-tugma, huwag kayong magtatalon agad sa non-organic visual loss. Okay? Always rule out organic causes first before kayo tumalon dun sa non-organic causes. Okay? So, normal eyes with no RAPD but poor vision is not always non-organic visual loss. Okay? So, magkakasunod na ito, ha? Careful examination of the patient, confrontational testing, visual field testing, or automated perimetry. And kung kunwari, if it suggests, for example, in that case, meron siyang hemianopia, particularly right hemianopia, then do neuroimaging. Okay? Now we go to bilateral disc swelling, could be a papil edema. Okay? MRI, whenever we say papilledema, optic disc swelling siya. And then the visual acuity, 2020, 2025, basta maganda yung kanyang visual acuity. Okay? We should always request for an MRI with contrast and MR venogram or venography to exclude brain tumor and dural venous sinus thrombosis. Okay? Idiopathic intracranial hypertension is based on a specific diagnostic criteria. Okay? Na may MRI and MRV plus na lumbar puncture yung patient. And not all women with this swelling have IIH. Okay? So in this photo, uh, we can see hindi na patent yung daanan ng dural venous sinuses natin dito. And that could lead to an increase in intracranial pressure. Okay? Yan yung palagi nating nami-miss out minsan. Okay? Minsan MRI with contrast, pero hindi natin napagawa yung MRV. Okay? We should always request for an MRV. Push of a button lang naman yan. Settings lang yan. So, kung naghahanap ka ng aneurysm, MRA, MRV, kung in the cases of papilledema, then MRV naman. Okay? So, ayan. Ayan. Number 10, many diseases can present with motility disturbance with the same clinical photo. Okay? Ito. Sorry, parang grainy yung medyo grainy, sorry. Then, teka, ito muna. So, ano napapansin niyo dito sa first video? Ito.
There's limitation in adduction, doc, on the right.
Okay, ito. Ay, sorry. Ito.
Doc, it's not that clear, pero parang may nystagmus siya on right gaze. Tama.
Okay, sige. Ito, internuclear ophthalmoplegia to. Okay? But this one also looks like internuclear ophthalmoplegia. Okay, ayan meron siyang adduction deficit. Okay? So, ito yung tinatawag natin medial rectus palsy, ha? Pero it's not medial rectus palsy, okay? It's internuclear ophthalmoplegia. Okay? Okay, many diseases can present with the motility disturbance with the same clinical photo. Okay? Believe it or not, this one is thyroid eye disease and this one internuclear ophthalmoplegia na talagang stroke. Okay? Pero this one, ano siya, enlarge yung medial rectus kaya hindi na siya nag-a-action talaga. Okay? So, kung titignan nyo, medyo somewhat proptose din itong isa niyang mata. Okay? So, again, mag-ingat. Go back to the history and physical examination. Okay? Ito naman. Okay. Tapos, ito. Puputuin ko to. Okay. Kung titignan nyo, itong patient na to, kukomplain ng vertical diplopia siya. Ha? Okay? Akala ko nung una skew deviation. So, when I had requested for an MRI of this patient, it turned out non-specific orbital inflammation siya. NSOI. Orbital pseudotumor. Yung tendons ng kanyang EOMs medyo swollen. Okay? So, akala ko nung una, well, baka ano siya, baka baka nag-i-skew deviation, meaning skew deviation, something to do with the balance system, okay, as compared dito. Pero ang complaint kasi, anong tawag dito? Vertical diplopia. And skew deviation, you may also have, um, you may also have vertical diplopia. Ha? So, paano mo madi-distinguish between the two? Of course, history and PE. Okay? Always go back to the history and PE. Okay? Of course, matanda ito. May magkaka-skew deviation ka. Most of the time in an elder patient, probably secondary to vasculopathic factors. Okay? Pero kung titignan mo, age nito, medyo bata-bata pa. Noong una, napagkamalan ko rin siyang thyroid eye disease. But it turned out to be a non-specific orbital inflammation or yung orbital pseudotumor. Okay? So, ah kung medyo puzzling yung patient or yung case, always go back uh, to the history, medical history of this patient. Nagkahang. Okay, so moving on. Unexplained double vision must be worked up, okay? Especially acute onset, okay? Again, life-threatening conditions first. Ano yung mga i-roll out natin? Aneurysm, tumor, and myasthenia gravis. Okay? Ang myasthenia gravis, pag napamayaan, pwedeng mamamatay ang pasyente. Okay? Yung pala, nagmamyasthenic crisis na. Okay? Tumor, of course, and aneurysm, yan. Talagang fatal yan. And we cannot afford to miss those cases. Okay? Lalo na ophthalmology in cases na may myasthenia gravis yung patient. Most of the time, magpapatingin yung mga yan, may ptosis na. Okay? So, huwag niyong kalimutan ito sa differential diagnosis. Okay? So, what to do? Mm, what to do in these cases? Of course, careful, sorry. Careful ocular motility exam. Of course, we look for deviations, saccades or pursuit, deficiencies. Of course, assessment of fusional abilities. Full neuro-ophthalmologic exam should be done on these cases with particular attention to the pupils. Of course, we're looking for anisocoria, ptosis, corneal and facial sensation, optic disappearance, and perimetry, whether confrontational pa lang siya or you want to go straight with automated. And of course, do not forget to do an neuroimaging. For example, in acute cases, proceed with CT scan na walang contrast. Pero kung cleared naman na siya ay hindi siya aneurysm or anything, then you may go with MRI. Okay? Yan. Number 12, all partial or complete third nerve palsy require MRI unless it is ischemic third nerve palsy. Okay? So, third nerve palsy, always rule out posterior communicating artery aneurysm. Okay? Pero ischemic third nerve palsy, pwede mong i-work up, pwede ring hindi. Pero on my side, I tend to be, ako, cautious ako. So personally, I always work them up. Palaging may kasamang neuroimaging ito. Okay? Pero of course, the clues that should make you suspect that it is an ischemic third nerve palsy, of course, vasculopathic risk factors, there's no history of cancer, vasculitis or autoimmune diseases. Most of the time, it's sudden onset of diplopia and ptosis. Ptosis becomes complete within 24 hours. Of course, no signs of giant cell arteritis. Okay? And then complete palsy, there's ptosis, no movement on elevation, adduction, and depression. Normal pupil, pupillary involvement could be compression. Okay? But it has a normal fourth nerve and sixth nerve. Okay? So, personally, I work them up. Bata man o matanda, I always roll out posterior communicating artery aneurysm because we had this one case sa East Ave. Diagnosed siya as stroke, as in meron siyang lateralizing signs and symptoms. Pero when we did an MRI, it turned out meron din siyang aneurysm. So, medyo malas yung patient, double whammy. May aneurysm siya on top of nagka-stroke pa siya. Okay? So, medyo complicated yung case na yon. Okay? For example, in this case, okay. So, kung mapapansin nyo in this video, it's really third nerve palsy, okay? Pero, ang medyo nakaka-off sa patient na to when the patient was referred to me, medyo bata pa siya. So, mga 20s lang yata to nung nakita ko to. So, from there, mag-iisip ka, of course, aneurysm, it could happen to at any age, pero pag medyo bata yung patient, personally, mas aggressive ako doon. Okay? So, it turned out, so what's next for this patient? Okay, so we requested for an MRI with MRA, and it turned out wala siyang aneurysm but may stroke siya doon sa kanyang brainstem. Okay, sa kanyang, sorry, brainstem, sa kanyang midbrain. Okay, so this patient had a stroke on midbrain. Okay, and further digging or further digging on the medical history, and it turned out ano siya, frequent illicit drug user siya. So tumaas na tumaas yung BP, and then eventually, ayan, nagka-stroke. Okay, si Gian Narag, mamimit yun siya later. Okay. Again, another case of cranial nerve 3 palsy. Ayan, inaangat ko lang kasi mitosis yung patient, ha? And then kung mapapansin nyo, there's only lateral movement and some depression, okay? And then pupillary exam, makikita nyo. Ayan, dilated, ha? And it turned out, meron siyang AV malformation, ha? So again, mag-ingat kayo dito sa patients na to. These are walking time bombs, ha? Pag nag-bleed yan, talagang mamamatay agad yung pasyente. But on further investigating the MRA, I hope you can see on, okay? Ito. Ayan. Okay? So may aneurysm din siya. Okay? So may AV malformation ka na, may aneurysm ka pa, so talagang patient is really a walking time bomb. Okay? So again, our dictum in neuro-ophthalmology, always rule out life-threatening cases first. Bumabagal. Okay. Okay. All fourth nerve palsy require an MRI to exclude brain tumor or vascular malformation, except for ischemic or congenital. Okay. So congenital fourth nerve palsy versus ischemic fourth nerve palsy. How do we determine the difference between the two? Of course, congenital fourth nerve palsy, if we review the previous photos of the patient, talagang naka-head tilt na siya. Kung tatanungin niyo yung patient, may previous photos ka ba or photos ka nung grade 1 ka, grade 2 ka, and then pag nakita mo naka-head tilt sila, then probably you're dealing with the congenital fourth nerve palsy. Of course, ischemic, it is sudden ang presentation yan. Of course, uncontrolled, or there's a trauma. Sorry. Hindi ko na isama dito is the trauma, of course. Almost always involved ang cranial nerve 4. But in cases of ischemic fourth nerve palsy, there's uncontrolled vasculopathic factor, for example, hypertension or diabetes, or the patient may have sleep apnea. Again, we should dig deeper into the medical history of this case. Okay, so again, be very careful. Cranial nerve 4 is a pseudo-localizing sign of increased intracranial pressure. Okay, so ischemic cranial nerve 4. Again, there's a history of vasculopathic risk factors, no history of cancer, vasculitis, or autoimmune diseases. Sudden onset of diplopia upon waking up, and then on examination, there's vertical or oblique deviation in the primary position, and patient must tilt head to avoid diplopia. Okay? And then pag nag-Maddox rod tayo of less than 10 degrees, okay? Well, Maddox rod just to confirm diplopia. And then congenital fourth nerve palsy, any age, patient could be asymptomatic, pero kung titignan nyo sila, naka-head tilt na. So, sasabihin niya sila, Dok, okay lang, hindi doble, pero naka-head tilt sila. Okay? From early childhood by reviewing photos. Diplopia may have a time course, no subjective torsion, and then patient prefers to head tilt. Minsan nakita mo naka-head tilt na, ididiretso niyo yung ulo, babalik ulit siya doon. Okay? So, most of the time ganon. So, ah, ano yung tool natin para malaman kung we're dealing with a fourth nerve palsy? Bilchowski test. Okay? First step is which eye is hyperdeviated. The second step is which eye is hyperdeviated on lateral gazes and which eye is hyperdeviated on head tilt. Okay? So, alam niyo na to, shortcut na to ha. First step, which eye is hyper. Ano yung pinakamataas. Okay? And then next step, you're ruling out which group of muscle. Is it the inferiors or the superiors? And then pag nag-healthy ka, are you dealing with the obliques or are you dealing with the recti muscle? Okay? So kung ang first step mo, for example, left yan, left eye din, and then left eye din yung third step, okay? Then probably you're dealing with left inferior oblique. Kasi puro left eye sila lahat. Okay? So, nagigets niyo yung ano ha, just follow the arrows. Okay? Basta, paano nyo malalaman kung ipsilateral or contralateral kung ano yung depende do sa first step niyo. Okay? Kung first step nyo right, then contralateral would be the left. Okay? And then additional fourth step, Maddox rod, quantifying the x-cyclotorsion. And then fifth step, which eye is hyperdeviated on supine position. Baka naman may ear problem siya or may otolith problem siya. The patient is manifesting as a case of skew deviation, which is most of the time nakaka-confuse siya with cranial nerve 4 palsy. Okay? So, if the hyperdeviation persists, pag pinahiga yung patient, we're dealing with a cranial nerve 4 palsy. And if the hyperdeviation is minimal, then or lumiit yung kanyang vertical yung kanyang pagkakaroon ng vertical diplopia, then you're dealing with a skew deviation. Okay? All cranial nerve 6 palsy require an MRI unless it is ischemic 6 nerve palsy. Again, ano yung clues natin for dealing with clues natin if we are dealing with an ischemic 6 nerve palsy? There's vasculopathic risk factors, no history of cancer, vasculitis or autoimmune diseases. Sudden palagi, ang ischemic cranial nerve 6 palsy. Okay, no persisting orbital hemifacial spasm or hemicranial pain or numbness, unexplained deafness, tinnitus, facial weakness on the affected side, or no other neurologic symptoms or GCA. Okay? Again, isotropa on primary position or other motility testing entirely normal. Yun lang talagang lateral rectus palsy niya yung talagang pinaka-problema. Okay? But then, pagbata, mag-ingat because cranial nerve 6 palsy is a pseudo-localizing sign of increased intracranial pressure. So, going back again to the patient, complete ophthalmologic exam. Check natin, baka swollen na yung nerve, tapos nagka-cranial nerve 6 palsy na siya, then probably increase na yung intracranial pressure niya. Okay? Ito, number 15, never miss a giant cell arteritis. Okay? Ito, pag na-miss nyo, kung hindi siya mag-i-stroke, mag-aortic abdominal aneurysm ito. Okay? So, there could be patient, the majority of this patient will complain of painful visual loss. Okay? Sudden persistent visual loss with optic disc swelling or with central retinal artery occlusion, or it may appear with a normal fundus. The patient may also present with transient double vision or a persistent double vision. Okay? So, majority ng mga cases namin sa East Ave, non-arteritic ischemic optic neuropathy siya. Okay? For example, Doc, hindi ako nakainom ng gamot ko sa diabetes. Okay? And then, so, winerk up namin siya. Pagbalik after 1 week, yung kabilang mata malabo na rin. Okay? O yung kabilang mata, Or minsan babalik sila, "Doc, masakit magsuklay, masakit umuya." Okay? Or babalik sa inyo, "Doc, lumalabo na itong isa, yung previous eye na pina-check-up ko sa inyo, wala na nakikita." Okay? So, with those, findings, talagang i-admit niyo na yung patient, and we should really never miss a giant cell arteritis. Okay? Hindi lang sila mabubulag, mamamatay din sila. Okay? So, uh, again, never miss a giant cell arteritis. Okay? And then, neuroimaging of choice is an MRI. Okay? Again, normal brain CT does not exclude serious disease. MRI should always be requested with contrast, as many orbital and brain lesions are difficult to detect unless contrast injection is given. Okay? Particularly yung deadly pupils, third nerve palsy, or Horner syndrome. Okay? Cranial MRI with contrast with MRA. So, ang clue nyo na lang, if you're probably dealing with an MR with the pupillary finding, of course, we need to rule out aneurysm in a third nerve palsy, Horner syndrome, baka nagkaka-carotid artery dissection na siya, always request for an A, MRA. Then, finally, three common mistakes. Okay. Three common mistakes: not suspecting the possibility of a serious orbital or brain disease as the cause of patient's eye complaints, not performing a thorough history and examination, and not referring early and urgently when necessary. Okay? And then, finally, always talk to your patients. Prognosis of the condition, treatment procedures, if kung meron man, and possible side effects and adverse reaction. Okay, so just a recap: life-threatening cases, partial or complete third nerve palsy, always rule out aneurysm. Okay, basta sa NO, always rule out life-threatening conditions first, lalo na kung kunwari unexplained visual loss, tapos may optic swelling, then probably a brain tumor, or unexplained diplopia, probably acute unilateral or bilateral ophthalmoplegia. Okay, myasthenia gravis, okay, ptosis or diplopia with dyspnea, dysphagia, or systemic weakness, and then Horner syndrome, secondary to an acute internal carotid artery dissection. Ito medyo swerte kasi most of the time nakikita natin to sa trauma, particularly pag whiplash injury yung patient, and then nakita mo ptosis na yung isa, nagtutosis na, and then there's uh, meiosis on the other eye. Okay? Then probably you're dealing with a carotid artery dissection. Okay? Pag na-miss ito, talagang mamamatay yung patient. And then bilateral sight-threatening cases, of course, giant cell arteritis, pituitary apoplexy, and neuromyelitis optica. Yung mga pituitary adenoma patients, ayun, almost always advise din natin sila na pwede magkaroon ng apoplexy. Okay? For the unilateral sight-threatening cases, particularly of interest to neuro-op kasi there's a compression of the optic nerve, is the sphenoid sinus mucocele. Okay, of course, glaucoma, endophthalmitis, penetrating eye injury, alam na natin yan by heart. But then, sometimes, nagkaka-sphenoid sinus mucocele, may history siya ng sinusitis yung patient, pero hindi niya ma-explain bakit blurred yung vision. And with the neuroimaging, may mucocele pala, and it's already compressing the optic nerve. Okay, so I think this is my last slide. Ito yung book, The Neuro-Ophthalmology Survival Guide. I'm wholeheartedly recommending it to everyone. Medyo masaya siyang basahin. And of course, kung hindi nyo alam yung gagawin, meron na rin siyang steps kung paano nyo i-manage yung patient. Okay, so that would be all. Thank you.
Dr. Carlo, for that very comprehensive neuro-opta tips. No, even for us consultants, it's a good review also. So I'm sure residents also. So we're very fortunate, no, because we're about to start a rotation also in East Avenue. So we thank Dr. Carlo for welcoming us. So hopefully we'll be working, our residents will be working together with Dr. Carlo to see more cases so that we can improve our neuro-ophthalmology here in Makati Med, so that we know that medyo we lack some patients. So definitely in East Ave, you will see a lot of patients, different kinds of atypical optic neuritis, trauma. So you name it, they have it there. And very hands-on si Dr. Carlo. So thank you, Dr. Carlo, again for
Hi, you're
welcoming.
welcome.
So now we open the floor for questions, residents, consultants, if you have any questions.
Doc, sorry, I have a question lang. Kasi we usually see parang mga diabetic ophthalmoplegia.
Yes,
That comes under ischemic na palsies, Doc. So if we're suspecting diabetic ophthalmoplegia, we don't do MRI necessarily.
Yes, ako rin, same din. Again, 'di ba, tulad nga sabi ko, we go back to the complete history. For example, kami, meron kaming nakita na case this ano lang, iniisipan namin talaga na nag-cranial nerve 6 palsy siya kasi uncontrolled yung kanyang diabetes, okay? But then, uncontrolled yung kanyang diabetes, pero nung tinanong namin siya, may iba ka pa bang nararamdaman? And sinabi niya, Doc, nagigising ako sa umaga sa sakit ng ulo. And then, occasionally, doubling of vision. So, pina-MRI namin siya and it turned out, pangit na yung retina niya, pangit na yung, well, aside from the diabetic ophthalmoplegia, may bukol pa siya. Okay? May meningioma siya. So, dito napapasok yung mga double whammy ng patients eh. Again, you really have to be very careful. Hindi naman dahil mali yung management mo. You just have to be very careful. Okay? Sometimes may mamimiss ka talaga. And ako, may namimiss din talaga ako. But almost always talagang babalik at babalik tayo sa history, medical history ng patient. So, it happens talaga. Nangyayari talaga yon. Okay? So, yes, nangyayari. Pero minsan, for example, kung cranial nerve 6 palsy lang, wala nang ibang findings yung patient, ine-MRI ko sila kung persistent yon after 3 months. For example, 3 months or 4 months, dapat magaling ka na. Pero siya, on the 5th month pa lang, kunwari late siya nag-follow up, on the 5th month, meron pa rin, pag-iisipan ko na siya na something else. Ayun, parang ganon. Okay? Kasi ischemic 6 nerve palsy, for example, in a diabetes, pag hindi controlled, ischemic yan. Magre-resolve yan kahit walang MRI. Pero on the 5th month, bumalik, ay, ba't di ka pa nagre-resolve? So, yan, mag-iisip na ako na something else. Did I answer your question?
Yes, Doc. Thank you, Doc.
I think it also remind the residents, no? Sometimes kasi when they see disc swelling, parang they always think, okay, steroids or ano, minsan we forget workup muna, then it's very like the age, the profile, acute, chronic, female, male, no? Yung very, in neuro-ophtha, di ba, we're very like parang investigation siya, so very, you can, with the history pa lang alone, no? You have na your working impression, so you already know more or less ischemic, inflammatory, or what, so that you can have a more directed workup. So not all the optic disc swelling will require MRI right away, as you mentioned kanina with yung mga rules, diba? So when to order it, lalo if it's NAION with the classic ischemic risk factors present. We don't always need to do the neuroimaging naman. Any other questions or clarifications? None. So I think all clear naman. Residents, no other questions?
No, Doc. Thank you, Doc.
Ayun. Invite ko lang kayo ha. Neuro-ophtha rounds ng DOHEC after this. Ongoing na sila.
Ay, sige. So,
ang topic would be neuroimaging by Gian Narag.
okay, sige. So, na, para you can move to the other room. Again, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Hope to see you soon then. Then the residents will be joining there in East Ave very soon. Thank you. Thank you for attending today.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you.
Oo.
Bye-bye. Rem, no announcements?
Wala naman, Doktora. Thank you again, Doc
Thank you.
Carlo.
Ay, thank you. Thank you. Oo.
Bye po. Have a good day, everyone. See you next week.
Thanks.